Am I tripping or did your screen do like a zoom out?
No, it did.
Okay, that's hard.
Yeah, it's the new laptop, man.
Yeah, love to see it. Yeah, love to see it.
We are increasing the production value on our recording.
And in 12 months, we both got new laptops, man. AWR to the moon.
To the moon, man. We just gotta get gotta get this extension. Because dude, when you buy a new laptop, you have to buy like all these new pieces, and it's just kind of a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. But we back. We back. Another episode
we
of Are We Recording?
We are. We're back. Are we recording? Back in the house. Back on the podcasting. I think we've been doing a lot of NBA content lately, and for all of our sports fans, I know you. We hope you guys are enjoying that content a lot. But we've
been feeding y'all for sure.
Feeding y'all with some great guests, some great convos, and hopefully you guys have been liking that. But we figured we take it back to our roots and have like a true podcast episode where we do our favorite segment, which we'll get to if you're a fan of the show. And we'll talk about the Joey Badass diss later on in the show, or the Joey Badass hip hop beef that's going on right now, and get into that a little bit more. But Ethan, without further ado, man, let's get right into the show. It's the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton. I'm 007 Gage Sutton. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribe and like before anything. And I know we just went on this whole spiel about how we're not making this a normal or like a sports video, like it's going to be one of our normal podcasts, but we have to talk about the finals, the NBA finals, and then we'll talk about the other finals.
I like that. That was a good segue. That was a good segue. I like that. I like that.
So the NBA finals are here, and we now know who the two teams are going to be. It is going to be the Indiana Pacers from the Eastern Conference and the Oklahoma City Thunder from the Western Conference, competing to see who will take home the Larry O'Brien. And I don't know about you, and I feel like this might be a very hot take, but I'm really excited for this finals. They're two teams that we haven't seen win a championship in decades. And
I don't think ever. The Pacers don't have a chip. Oklahoma City.
Well, Oklahoma City hasn't won one since they moved to Oklahoma. They have one as the Supersonics in Seattle, but never got one.
Yeah. You're right.
So like, yeah, but exactly. The point still stands. Is like, the Oklahoma City Thunder have never won a championship. So first off, yeah, we're getting a new champion, someone who's never been crowned before. So that's going to be awesome, regardless of who takes it home. But the basketball itself, I feel people are underrating how much it's going to be. This is the old school physical basketball that we're going to love. Both of these teams are deep as hell. They play fast. They play aggressive. They play really good defense, good team basketball. And I think Oklahoma City rightfully should be the favorite in the series, but Indiana is going to give them a run for their money. And for anyone counting the Pacers out, they've made easy money of everyone that they played so far, and you should not count them out because
and we definitely counted them out so far too in our NBA videos. I guess we could start with the Thunder first. The Thunder just smoked the Wolves, plain and simple. I know a lot of people were excited to see the Wolves back in the Western Conference, especially the way that Dallas manhandled them last year. And it's like, okay, this is going to be Ant's second time around. Let's see what he can do as far as making the necessary adjustments, because you saw him they were underdogs against the Lakers, and they overcame that. You saw how well they did in the second round too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Wolves they didn't play the Nuggets? Who did they play again? I'm sorry,
they played the Warriors.
The Warriors. They handled the Warriors too. They got a little lucky with the Steph injury, but they got the Warriors right up on out of there. And when a lot of people thought that the Warriors experience would have helped them through it, and now going into the OKC series, you thought, man, is Ant ready to take that leap into best in the world combos? And unfortunately for him and the Wolves, they're still. It's weird. They're still at the same spot they were last year, like by record and by status, but as well as eye test. Like you see, the Wolves still have a way to go as far as being the contenders, and the Thunder have answered the call. It was rocky at first. But they've handled the call tremendously.
Yeah. I agree. For as much as I don't want to see Oklahoma City win a championship for
at all.
yeah, because like I like Shea, I like the Thunder overall as a team, but having Chet Holmgren win a championship before Wemby just hurts me a little bit.
You
So
telling me I have an SGA win a chip before Luca? Oh my gosh, I'm sick right now. I'm so sick right now. But I
wait,
mean,
but you're a
credit to them.
Mavericks fan.
I'm a Luca fan. I'm a Luca fan.
Okay.
But I mean, the way I put it is that SGA is really having one of the best seasons that we've ever seen from a guard, and he's been putting up. It was a little rough early on in that Memphis series, his performance at least, not really the Thunder as a whole because they kind of blew them out, but and especially early on in that Denver series, especially the first 3 or 4 games. But ever since that second half of the Denver series and this entire Western Conference Finals, he's been on a heater, especially just being
Yeah.
overall consistently on the offensive and doing what he's supposed to do as the main guy. And although I haven't been sold on J-Dub and Chet Holmgren as number 2 and number 3 scoring options, they've definitely made up for it on the defensive end because this is an all-time great defense that the Thunder got. This really, really is.
Yeah.
And they deserve to be in the finals. They've been the best team in the West the entire season, and in the playoffs they handle they handle their business. They handle their business.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting for the Timberwolves, and we'll do a whole episode about this. Talking about what teams we think are going to see a lot of change in this offseason. And like I said, we'll get into that some other time. But to focus strictly on the Timberwolves, like you said, they are just kind of stuck in that place where they got back to the Western Conference Finals, and Oklahoma City is a very good team, but for the Timberwolves, you look at this team construction and you're like, what do we do next? Because we traded Cat, still had the same amount of success. I don't think they have their first round pick this year. I think they traded to get up and get Rob Dillingham, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe you could correct me on that, but I don't know, man. The Timberwolves are just in a weird place because you know that you want to build around Ant, but do you take Julius Randle out of the equation, even though he was one of the better pieces on this team, throughout the
And he
playoffs?
and he definitely was better than Cat was last year
Yeah.
for them. But then you look at how
Yeah.
big the Rudy Gobert contract was, and he's been good for them, but he hasn't been great, right?
Well, the
And the
problem is,
coaching's been
like,
good.
who's going to want Rudy Gobert too? Like, the Timberwolves don't have any leverage in that situation because they gave up a lot to get him. They're paying him a shit ton of money, and there probably aren't a lot of teams that are going to want to take that contract for the level of play you're getting back. Because again, not to say that Gobert is a bad player, but he's just there's a limit to what he can do offensively, and there were times where Oklahoma City exposed that in this series. And I mean, this isn't new for Rudy Gobert. This is a conversation we've had before, but
No,
it's
and,
going to be really, yeah.
they're like we said, they're at the same spot they were last year, and credit to them because they tried something new, switching Julius and Cat, and Ant got a little better, but they're just not a good enough team yet. And Ant in itself, he's a great player, but he's still not in that top 6, top 7 in the world combo that I think a lot of NBA media and fans want him to be, just because we love his personality and his energy. And we know how great he can be, but he's not in. Like you saw the levels between him and a guy like SGA. Like you saw that there was a different level that Ant just couldn't get into. No matter how much we wanted him to do it, he just couldn't get there. He just couldn't get there at
Yeah.
all.
And it's okay because Ant's still young. He's still experiencing these things for the first time. I mean, even though that was the second Western Conference Finals, it's with a different team. Uh, I, I think Ant has been very good, and as long as he's on the Timberwolves, they're going to have a chance. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe the best course of action is just let him continue developing, because I think he can become that top 5, top 3 player in the world. But it's just a matter of him,
Taking
stepping
that
up in
leap.
these moments. Yeah, taking that leap and stepping up in these moments. And yeah, hopefully we'll see more from them next off season. And for the Thunder, I mean, like you said everything that we need to about this team. They played really great throughout the regular season. They have the MVP in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and they're going to be the team to beat, regardless of how much the Pacers are going to come into this game as the underdog, though, we have to talk about the Pacers beating the Knicks. And low-key, the Pacers, their whole playoff run, uh,
They handle
people have
business.
they
They have
handle
handled
business,
it
man. We've
because we.
doubted them.
Mhm.
People all around the NBA media have been doubting them because everyone was for sure Boston was going to be the number 1 seed, was going to be the team to beat in the East. And, things happen in Boston, unfortunately, with Jason Tatum. But
Even the
it doesn't,
Cavs, even the
yeah,
Cavs.
even the Cavs, but there's no excuse for like the Pacers getting to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years in a row and now stamping their ticket to the finals. You have to give credit where credit is due because these guys play hard. They are coached well. They play great team ball. They just have really good chemistry. And that's what gives me a little bit of hope that we're going to see a very competitive series in these finals because these are two teams that I think match up very well with each other. And the Pacers, just credit to them, man. They've played really, really well. And it's not just Tyrese Halliburton, it's Miles Turner, it's Pascal Siakam, Andrew
Andrew Nemhard,
Nembhard.
Aaron
Dude, all these
Naismith.
guys
Yep,
are
yep,
hooping.
yep.
TJ McConnell, they're all playing really well.
Obi Toppin.
And
Yep,
yeah, they got a
yep.
squad.
They do. And we just got to give credit where credit is due because last year, let's be honest, that Pacers run to the Eastern Conference Final, it failed the diamond test. It was fugazi, and it's not because of them getting blown out by the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. Is what led up to it. They beat a hurt Milwaukee team, they beat a hurt Knicks team, and they ran it back. They played it. Don't get me wrong. They still played a hurt Milwaukee Bucks team, but they handled them like this. They went then and played a 60-win Cleveland Cavaliers team, smoked them. That we thought was clearly one of the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference Finals, Eastern Conference, and smoked them. Then you had the Knicks, where the Knicks came off such a great high, beating the Celtics, where nobody thought they could beat them. That I feel like the Knicks peaked a little too early, and so the Pacers took advantage of that. That game 1 really, really ripped the Knicks' heart out. It really,
Man,
really did. And I don't think they ever recovered from losing that first game because then they lose that first game and then they said, okay, we still have that second game at home. And then you lose the second game at home, knowing that you still have to go play 2 games in Indiana.
yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that Knicks home court advantage hasn't really been there all postseason, but I felt like that was one where they knew they had that was a game that they lost. That was and I know they ended up coming back from 20 in game 3, but even still, that first game, I don't think they ever got over that. I really don't think they did.
I agree. And what's even funnier about this is that the Knicks were so good on the road throughout these playoffs. If they would have just gotten that first one at home or even that second one at home, this would have been a completely different series. But like you said, the momentum was completely shifted in Indiana's favor when they go up 2-0 in the series, taking both in Madison Square Garden. It just was a very difficult thing for the Knicks to come back from. And credit to them for getting it to a game 6 and, trying to compete. But the Pacers they came out stronger than them in those first 2 games, and ultimately it made the difference in the series. So, Knicks fans, I see a lot of them overreacting, and again, they're another team that we will dive deeper into about their offseason and what they should be looking at. But if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm not panicking because the East is going to be wide open again next year with Boston out of the equation, and
it felt like this was their chance, bro. It with Boston and Cleveland out of the way. And you didn't really have to at the time you thought the Pacers, like if you would have told Knicks fans, yo, you're gonna play the Pacers in 7 games and have a chance to make the NBA Finals, and to play either the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Minnesota Timberwolves, rather than maybe a team like Denver, maybe a team like Dallas the year before, maybe a team instead of Boston or Cleveland, they would have took that 10 times out of 10. They would have. And for them to get those odds and not capitalize on it, especially by not beating the Pacers, I just know Knicks fans are sick, and I love it. And I love it.
I don't know, man. Seeing the Knicks lose like that, there was something about. I think it was just the idea that if the Knicks won a championship, the city of New York would be ripped out of the ground.
No, for sure. That would have been lit, though. That would have been lit. I'm not
That's
gonna
what I'm
lie.
saying is I really don't know if there's a city that would just celebrate that championship the way that a New York would. So.
Dallas would have.
Okay,
Not an NBA
all right,
championship, a Super Bowl. They would have.
Yeah,
It's
right.
I think the Knicks got a shot, but it goes back to that Becky Hammon quote. Like when Jalen Brunson is being that small of a guard, unless you're a generational player, it's not going to really work too well when he's your best player. And Jalen Brunson played great throughout these playoffs, but it was more so
But
they
is
had
he
a
the
good team.
problem? I think he was Cat, man. I think
I think it was
like
a little bit. I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was a little bit of both. I think Cat wasn't the greatest, but you got to look at certain games. Cat hooped when for especially early on in that series. That game one, I think if you had to pick one or the other who was better, I think Cat was better in that game one. I think that
hmm.
game six was more so the game one that supporting cast really didn't live. OG was terrible. Mikhail wasn't good at all. I just feel as if those two they complement each other well, but like they're both really high volume scorers. And more so the problem was Tibbs more than anything. I felt like Tibbs really his in series adjustments weren't good at all, and um his in series adjustments weren't good at all. And he got out coached, plain and simple. Rick Carlisle coached circles around him, and it's dope to see Coach Carlisle go back to another NBA Finals because although we love to talk about great coaches like Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson, pardon me, and how great they were, and they're best in the best, some of the best coaches who have ever coached ever. Rick Carlisle is a Hall of Fame coach, and he deserves the recognition that he gets that I don't think he's gotten for a very long time because he is not on that level. But as far as maybe what is one of the 5 to 12 best NBA coaches ever, I think Rick Carlisle's on that list. I truly believe he is.
Whew. Hey, I mean, he has a very good resume, I would say. I think
I
another
would say
championship. I would say another championship here would definitely start to put him in that conversation, in my opinion. Um, and I mean, the resume over a lot of these guys who we consider, I don't want to say elite coaches, but people who are very highly thought of. Doc Rivers. I mean, I think there's a very large case that Rick Carlisle would be a better coach, or
he is.
might be
He is.
even a better coach in this
He is.
moment.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
a
him.
second ring would definitely help solidify that, in my opinion.
Absolutely, but I'm just happy for this Pacers team, and I guess this goes on to our prediction, man. With the game's going to start in a couple of days. By the time this out, it might already start. Who you got? I guess I'll start with it first. I love the story of the Indiana Pacers making it to the finals, and we're having two small market teams in OKC and Indiana, but this is a case where this is just a really bad matchup for the Pacers. And I know we've been saying this all playoffs, but I truly believe that like everything that Indiana struggles with, OKC gives them problems with because this is an all-time great defense that OKC has. Don't get shit mistaken. With Chet, J-Dub, Dort, even Shea pitching in a little bit. You have Alex Caruso balling. You have Hartenstein. You have Case and Wallace. It's just a lot of bodies that you can throw at Tyrese Halliburton, my mulatto brother. Like there's a lot of bodies you could throw at him. But but I just don't think the Pacers have enough, man. I really don't think. I think OKC this is going to be an exciting series for them, and I think they get Indiana out of there in 5.
Ooh.
I think it's
See,
gonna be a
I
quick
think
series.
I don't know, man. I want to give a little bit of credit to the Pacers because I mean, you say they don't match up, or this isn't a great matchup for them, but I think this is a really good matchup because they have the bodies to contend with Oklahoma too. Like we talked about with the Pacers, I think they're a deep team. I think they have very good players that um, maybe aren't at the level of a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. There's not a player in this series that's better than Shea Gilgeous-Alexander on either side,
Yeah.
right? Um, and then like you keep looking at it and you would say maybe the next two best players are also Oklahoma. Or I guess Tyrese Halliburton would be second, but
I think Halliburton's same, but after that, I think you go 3 J-Dub or Chet.
yeah,
I lied. Siakam Siakam is definitely. I
we
think
got it.
it's
Yeah, we
easier
do
to
have to put respect on
even though he
Siakam's
had no
name, man.
business winning that Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He had no business winning. I think Siakam has had an underrated career as far as being a really good playoff performer. Already winning a ring with the
The
Raptors as
Raptors.
the second best player, and
Yeah.
now going to the finals as the second best player on the Indiana Pacers. I just think after that it kind of gets hard. Don't get me wrong. I think they got a shot because I think they have, if they have one of, if not the best offensive basketball, I think defensively, that's when they're going to run into problems. I really think so. I just think OKC is so good defensively that they're going to be able to slow down Indiana. I just don't think Indiana can slow down OKC. at all. At all.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll give my final prediction as I want to see the Pacers win, but I'm going to take OKC. I'll say in 6 rather than 5. I think Indiana can take at least 2 games in the series.
I think they're going to get a game. I just think Tyrese Halliburton. I'm looking at his career averages right now against the Thunder, and I know a lot of it came again when he was with the Kings, but he was still playing a lot of minutes. His averages against the King are 13 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds. Which, if you are a role player, like or a solid starter, that's really good stats. But you're going up against a superstar and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you're gonna need to put up more than 14 points that he averages. Like, sorry, you're gonna have to double that if you want a shot to beat this team.
Yeah. Well, regardless, it should be a really exciting series and exciting to see a new champion crowned, one that we have not seen in the NBA's history. But I think it's time for us to go to our favorite segment of the Art Recording Podcast.
It's been a minute. Can we hit this out? You ready?
I hope so. Let's see.
Come on. Put you on. Yes. Our recording family, we back here. The group chat. We here. This is gonna be our favorite segment of the show. Put you on. We put you on to some of the dopest stuff we've been watching, listening for the past week. And so it's been a minute. So we're gonna hit you with both some music and some good TV or movies, whichever one we got for the week. I guess I'll start with it first. I want to start with music. For me, I'm a sucker for some good Earl Sweatshirt music, and I even love a good Earl Sweatshirt and Mavi collab. So they got a new track called Land Grab that it's what you expect. I love the soulful production. Those two are elite lyricists, and it's a great track. So Land Grab by Mavi and Earl Sweatshirt is going to be my Put You On music choice for the week.
All right. Very nice. I like it. I'm going to stick with hip hop too, and I am going to recommend the album Billy 2 by Suave. And Suave is one of the guys I saw on tour with Jid and Smino a couple years back. And he just released this album, and it's got some bangers, man. I definitely recommend the songs Off the Leash, Bishop, and Elroy are my favorites off the album. And yeah, check out Suave, man. I think I don't want to say he's up next, but he's got some music that's really exciting and should make him a name to look out for.
Yeah. Good choice. All right. Next up, I'm gonna go to TV show, and it's gonna be a little bit more mainstream. And I thought I'd never recommend a show like this, but I've been watching this show called Forever on Netflix. Dope ass. I don't want to say it's definitely like a high school coming of age TV show. Between these two teens from LA, and I love it. I think they really tell like the high school coming of age story in a very mature way that sometimes you don't get from shows like that are a little far out there, but you don't get it a lot from shows like what's it called? Like, not Stranger Things, but what's the other one? The Beach Show. Fuck, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, you get the point that I'm making. Like a lot of Netflix coming of age stories. I feel like this is easily the best one, and they just announced the season 2 for it. So Forever on Netflix is a banger. I loved it.
All right. Nice. So I'm gonna go with a movie here, and I don't know why it's not in a lot of theaters, but it's the Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd movie called Friendship, and it's a comedy. And for anyone who knows who Tim Robinson is, you probably have an idea of like, well, you know, the kind of humor that's going to be in this movie. And I'll just be completely straight up and honest with you. It's like one really long I think you should leave skit. Just featuring
I saw this trailer for it. It's definitely on my list.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Definitely recommend it. I had a blast. I think everyone in the theater I was in really enjoyed it. And I wouldn't say it's one that you have to see in theaters, but I would recommend watching it even after it comes out on streaming services. Very, very funny.
Bet that. Well, that's going to be our Put You On for the week for our recording. If you liked our choice and have been liking our choices so far this season, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, wherever. We're constantly posting on there, and even our terrible takes. And as we transition out of basketball into some music, I want to talk about one of the highlights, because it has been a slow music year. It has, outside of a few drops, it's been a slow music year. But for the past month or so, what's been keeping me really invested in hip hop has got to be some rap, a good old rap beef, good old rap beef. And for me, it's going to be Joey Badass versus the West Coast. And so Joey Badass early in the year, I guess in kind of a response to how well the West did last year and TDE, he kind of he had a few bars kind of not dissing the West Coast, but just on some like, yo, if you feel like this is a diss, then jump. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of West Coast artists jumped out the window. You had guys like Ray Vaughn responding, Daylight responding, AZ Cheek responding, and it made for some really, really good diss tracks back and forth where it didn't get too crazy, too personal. It was really good raps. And Joey held on to his own. That 1v20 or that 20v1 that Drake was talking about, that's what Joey Badass actually had to deal with. And he handled his business fair and square. My favorite track out of all of it might have been the finals with pardon me. It was with a battle rapper. Sorry, I'm like blanket with names today. Hold on. But the finals, you had Nixon 6-2, but it was really, really great. It was really, really great what Joey did and so far in this beef.
Yeah, I love Joey Badass. I think he is one of the most underrated rappers of this era, and like he has the albums to back it up, the lyricism, just maybe the one thing that he doesn't have compared to Kendrick in this situation is the mainstream appeal. But if he can get Kendrick to come out of his shell, because he's tried before and it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
I think that would really give Joey a little bit more of a push in conversations as one of the greats, because he's displaying it right now against people who are very good rappers, like we're saying, with Daylight, Ray Vaughn. But Joey, for me, even regardless of whether he's able to get Kendrick out of out of hiding to respond,
Yeah.
Joey deserves credit for lighting a fire under a lot of hip hop and getting people to just compete, making it about music and making it about competitiveness, and not making it about the bullshit that all the Drake and Kendrick stuff was about. And
That eventually got
we were
you.
yeah, exactly. Like we were entertained by it, obviously, but that wasn't what the true nature of a rap beef should be. It should just be the competition, the bars. I can out rap your ass. I can make a better song than you. And Joey did that. Joey's been doing that, and I hope he stays on this murderous intent, like for the foreseeable future.
I'm with you because I feel like people forget how young Joey Badass actually is and where he started in his career with the 1999. And I think we're all kind of waiting for Joey to take that next big step up into mainstream appeal. Even though he has great albums, great projects in his discography. Correct me, it wasn't Nixon 6, it was the track was My Town, where he did it with Loaded Lux, which was fire. Him having that battle rap angle to go up against Daylight, have a little bit of East Coast help, I thought was great. But no, Joey, I really hope he uses this a little bit like how Kendrick was able to do GNX right after this. I really hope we get a new Joey project, because Joey has some great albums in his discography. He has Badass, he has 2000, he has All American Badass. Like he has some really good projects. I really hope he uses this to kind of platform himself. And I'm also I'll get to the West in a second, but I'm just really happy for whatever Joey did in this beef.
Yeah, and it's cool for, like, as a Joey fan and keeping up with like the pro era stuff, seeing Nick Caution and some of these other guys on Joey's label involved too. It's pretty cool. That it's just, like I said, gotten the best out of everyone on the East Coast and the West Coast. And do you want to talk about Ray Vaughn mostly, because I think Ray Vaughn has been
who showed
yes,
out.
he really, really did. And that's the whole thing I want to take away from this, because while Joey, in my opinion, is the winner of this beef so far,
Quite comfortably. Let's
quite
give respect.
comfortably, yes. But Ray Vaughn, he came with it. I know that he wasn't the one that Joey Badass was calling out. He wasn't the one that the West declares as their king, as the one that speaks for the West. But Rayvon came and did his absolute best against, like I said, one of the best MCs of our era. And he should definitely be given credit because, again, even though he lost in our eyes and maybe in the eyes of a lot of other hip hop fans, he put on a very, very good showing with the tracks he released. And I was impressed, man. Not knowing much about Rayvon before this beef, I just was impressed, man.
No,
I really don't
Rayvon
have anything else to say.
No, you're not wrong. Rayvon operated great in this whole beef, and TDE, I think he trial by fire. TDE might have another one in Rayvon if they can really, really kind of build him up, because this is great for him. Even if he was on the losing end of it, I think he definitely held his own. I think now Daylight, guys like Daylight, I don't think he did the greatest. AZ Cheek, I loved his track, but now that Joey started calling him ass cheeks, I'm like, damn, he kind of cleared him up. It's like the Metro drop and give me 50 line. He kind of cleared him up real quick with that line right there. And I wonder, do you think it's time for the big boys in TDE to step in? And it don't have to be Kendrick, right? Because we can talk in a second if we think Kendrick's going to be the one if Kendrick's going to eventually address Joey Badass. But do you think some of the OGs, do you think a J-Rock, a Schoolboy? I know Ab Soul responded, which I was kind of a little disappointed in his track and his Red Bull freestyle, even though it was good. Do you think that the OG TDE boys respond?
I mean, the way that Joey's spitting right now, I don't know if they want the smoke.
You don't think J-Rock and Schoolboy can rock with Joey?
Maybe J-Rock. I don't. Do you think Schoolboy Q wants that smoke?
Yeah. Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Hey, he's been pretty quiet, and I'm just saying they've all been pretty quiet so far. So I don't know. Joey's been calling out everybody, and again, just trying to get a rise out of these TDE. You know, the OGs,
the elder
right?
statements.
Yeah, the elder statesmen. I didn't want to say that because that sounds fucked up. But the OGs of TDE, get them out of their shells, get them to come out, respond, come shoot.
I think they will. I think Joey has at least earned the right for one of them. I know Ab responded, but I think a real response out of one of them, he for sure. I think Kendrick responds to Joey. Now, do I think we get a full diss track from Kendrick? No, I don't. But I think, and if the past 18 months has told us anything about Kendrick Lamar, is he listens and he sees a lot more stuff than we think he does. Because there's a lot of times throughout that whole Drake back and forth where we didn't think Kendrick knew certain things about Drake, or he was paying attention to the drama or to the headlines. And Kendrick was very much in tune to what was happening. Yeah. And I think Kendrick is very in tune to what was happening between him, Rayvon, Daylight, and everybody. And I think the next time we hear Kendrick Lamar, he's going to have a bar or two towards Joey. Now, do I think he's going to go full out diss towards Joey? No. I think it's how do I say this without demeaning Joey? Joey's not near the level of star that Kendrick is, so Kendrick can kind of little bro him the way that Joey little broed Rayvon, AZ Cheek, that he won't be able to do with Kendrick. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, if Kendrick stoops down to Joey's level, that's when it's gonna get maybe a little muddy, because Joey showed off his really good versatility, rapping on both East Coast and West Coast beats. That I think if Kendrick is smart, that I think he is, I think he's gonna throw a few lines here and there, but he's not gonna give him a full diss back and forth.
See, that's what Joey wants, though. He wants the full song,
and he should. You know how good that would be for Joey if Kendrick jumped out the window fully. Yeah, I think that'd be great for him.
I don't see why he wouldn't, man. And Kendrick, for a lot of the shit he talks, man, the control verse, all the shit about I'm the greatest. When it finally comes time to prove yourself against someone not named Drake, where are you, K-Dot?
Don't do that. Like, why not Drake? Like, Drake ain't one of the greatest ever. See, that's how we gotta go do. But I'm with you, though.
Hold on. Are we on different? Are we on in agreement that the tier of rapper Joey Badass and Drake are completely different, right?
I think we have a different, but I don't think you're gonna like what I'm saying. I think Drake is a better rapper than Joey Bada is.
Shut up, dude! Don't
I
say
really
that.
think he is. Don't play with. Oh, see, we're not gonna do this revisionist history with Aubrey. We're not gonna do this.
Drake
And
is
I'm not
great
even.
artist.
I'm
He's
not.
a better
I'm not.
artist.
He's also a better rapper than Joey Bada is. Joey Bada is a
rapper
really. He is. He is. Joey Bada is a really
Does
good
he even
rapper.
write his own songs?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. The timestamps exist. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I do. Like I said, if I'm Joey, I keep going. I keep poking and prodding. If I get J-Rock, I get Q to hop out the window, then cool. But I want Dot. I want Dot more than anybody. I just don't think Dot's gonna go fully. I think the next time we hear Dot, like after the tour, maybe on a GNX Deluxe, I think we're gonna get that GNX Deluxe probably at the end of the year. I really think that he's gonna have a few bars towards Joey. I just don't think he's hopping in the studio right now doing them big ass stadium tours. Because I went to that Kendrick and SZA show, and it was great. But boy, was Kendrick working on that show. Oh my goodness, it was a great show. So I just don't see him having the time to go do that big ass stadium tour and then go hop in the booth for an hour or whatever it takes for him to write some bars towards Joey Badass. Nah, I don't see him doing
that. Hey, well, it'll be interesting to see, man, because I personally would like to see, like you said, Joey continue to poke the bear, try to get a rise out of the elder statesman of TDE, but I don't know. I guess time will tell, because Joey made quick work. I wouldn't say quick work, but he made work of the rest of those guys that were coming after him. So
yeah,
I think it would be exciting, but.
Well, I think that's all that we got covered. A little bit of a shorter episode on the pod this week, but we're able to cover the finals. We're able to cover Joey Badass versus the West, as well as put you guys onto some new music and new TV shows and movies. If you liked what we brought to you guys so far, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for more content, as we're going to have a lot more videos coming. It's the summertime. You already know AWR. When the sun is out, we out. So we're going to have a lot more stories to tell y'all about what's going on in our lives, as well as some of the shit we've been watching. So please make sure to like and subscribe and follow us. You already know who it is. It's been 007, Gage Sutton, and the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton. We'll catch y'all later.
Peace.